Rev up your engine. It's time for ScottyKilmer.com. Are you worried that your car's brakes aren't working right? Then stay tuned, because I'm going to show you how to change your car's brake pads today. Now this Honda needs a brake job in the rear because the squealers are making a sound. The pads in this Honda have little metal squealers, and when the pads get really thin, the squealers touch the rotors and make a sound. So it's time to jack up the car and pull off that wheel. Away it goes. Here's the brake caliper. There's a bolt on the top and a bolt on the bottom. You just remove the two bolts, hit them hard to loosen them, then finish taking the bolts off and pull the caliper off. There's the worn out pads here. Now you can see in these pads there's hardly any pad material left. It should be about this thick, and there's only about, less than a quarter of a dime's worth left. Now of course you have to decide what kind of brake pads to use. Well, here's my suggestion. You'll find there's all kinds of brake pads out there that'll fit your car, but most cars come with ceramic pads these days. So if you use a cheaper non-ceramic pad as a replacement, they might stop okay, but they'll probably make a lot of noise. So I personally use Akabono ceramic pads when I do a brake job. They might spell their name funny, but they make great pads. Now with this Honda, the hardest part is getting the piston to go back in. You'll notice it has a hash mark. That's for a special tool to go into. And that's because on this Honda, the rear discs are also the emergency brake. You need a special tool like this that fits into the groove so you can turn it and squeeze it in at the same time. On this type of setup, do not use a giant pair of pliers to squeeze it in. I've seen guys do that, and you'll ruin the caliper, and it'll cost you hundreds of dollars for a new caliper. As you can see, the tool's easy to use. You just slide it into the caliper and then tighten it up. As you turn the handle, it turns the caliper and pushes it in at the same time. Now you can't really do this job without the tool, but don't fret. I bought a whole set of these tools from Harbor Freight Tools, and it cost $40 when it was on sale. Now all you have to do is pull out the old pads and put the new ones in. Then slide the caliper back on and put the bolts on. Now you want to make sure they're good and tight, so finally put the wrench on and tap it a few times with a hammer to make sure both of them are real tight. Now brake pads work in pairs, so we just did the left rear side, and now we've got to do the right rear side. But it's exactly the same as the left rear, only it's on the other side. Well, for now, because I've got a flight to catch. But if you got a question, just go to ScottyKilmer.com, and I'll answer it as soon as I get back from this flight.